music for Egypt. Nile FM.
I have a guest in the NileFM studio. Yes, she's a Persian Egyptian film director. Well, I know there's going to be a lot of movies coming ahead. Who comes from a diverse background with which provided the inspiration for the projects she's worked on so far. With her directorial debut for the series Asheqt, based on the novel by Mohammed Mansi and Dil, back in 2015, we were first introduced to her talent on our screens. She's since directed a mini-series that brought to light vitiligo and the trials and tribulations that people suffering from it face on a daily basis. In 2021, she gave us another important topic to talk about, which was in her series, 60 Minutes, portraying the repercussions of harassment and violence against women. That went on to be celebrated by the United Nations with their campaign, International Day of Elimination of Violence Against Women. She's won an award. Yes, you heard that right. She's won an award of one of the 50 most influential women in the MENA region. And she's back again on our screens with another very interesting topic. This time round, it's with a mini-series called The Last Round, starring superstar Ahmed El-Sakka, streaming now on Amazon Prime. If you haven't already watched it, you are missing out. I've been looking forward to having her here on Good Vibes Only for a really long time. With me now in the NileFM studio is director and dear friend Miryam Ahmadi. Miryam, hello.
Hi Zeinab, what an intro. I'm so thankful بصراحة for the intro.
Well, you know what? I've been looking forward to have you here for a really, really long time. Now, I've got to give everyone a little, info. We've been friends for a very long time, and I've got to have the pleasure to be in the front seat to watch your journey and see it progress. And I couldn't be any prouder. And it's super, super cool that we are sitting here right now and we're going to talk about just that. I know you, but everyone else doesn't know. They know your work, but they don't know Miryam. Okay, and that's what I want to be doing in this first hour. So, how you been though?
I'm grateful after the last round, after the experience with Ahmed El-Sakka on Amazon Prime. I'm really grateful. I'm feeling grounded.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
You're happy.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see it. You're glowing. You're looking good. I want people to know you more, so I want to kind of ask you the questions that kind of give a little bit of insight on what your journey was like. So I want to start off. Oh, hold on. What's happening here? Wait, let's stop that. So what I want to actually start off with is, when was the moment you knew that you wanted to be a director? How did the story begin?
I think I knew I wanted to be a director from since I was very young. I used to live abroad.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young, you do everything. You try everything. So I've done sports. I was very good in swimming. I was very good in ice hockey. I acted in theater, in the school theater. I've done a clown. I've done musical shows. I've done Sound of Music. I've done even Shwikar in Motarda Gharamaya. Do you know the song? I've done everything.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I love the fact that I've known you this long and I did not know that.
I've done lots of stuff. I've done lots of acting. I've done lots of acting in theater. And I was a very good reader. And back then, Archie, it's like it's an American comic ongoing series book. So I was connected somehow. I was engaged with the characters, with Archie, Betty, and Veronica.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to discuss the relationship between the three with my mom. And whenever I've done acting in school, I did not feel it was my thing. I was always attracted to the teacher who was directing us, or the choreographer who was directing the show.
I see.
And I remember one day I went back home, and I've done my own setup in my bedroom. I've built a tent out of my blankets.
Yeah.
And I've got all the toys in, the Barbies, the superheroes toys of my brother, and I created a situation between them.
Yeah.
And from this situation, it turned to be a dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm taking part of it. So I started the dialogue, and I got either my mom or one of my friends, and then after starting the dialogue, they reply. and the conversation takes place until it gets to it catch fire somewhere.
Yeah.
But then I need to finish the story.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough time to finish the story because I have to go back. I have to go bed by 9 p.m. because I was young. So I finished the rest of the story in my mind, while in my dreams, in my imagination. It turned from toys to real people I know in school.
Yeah.
And the progress happened that I used to put a notebook next to my bedroom with a pen. And when I dream the story until I fall asleep, the next day, the first thing I do in the morning, that write it down. So I started writing short stories. And back then, because from the background that you just mentioned in the intro, I was exposed more to American, European, and Iranian movies. Mm-hmm. And there was a movie, for Abbas Kiarostami. He's an Iranian, he's a Persian filmmaker, that influenced me a lot. So I started searching for Egyptian movies. My mom used to record the Egyptian movies, the Arabic movies, on VHS tapes.
Yeah. And the days of VHS.
Yes, exactly. So I remember there was 2 movies that I really liked a lot. It was one of them. One of them was Ghurub Washruq by Kamal al-Sheikh. He's one of the best film directors in Egypt, in my point of view. May his soul rest in peace. And the other film was Khali Balak min Zuzu.
I love that. That was definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
I think it was a big hit.
Yeah.
Khali Balak min Zuzu.
It was.
And then I remember my mom, she was a bit confused because especially Ghurub Washruq, it's not an easy, I was young.
Yeah.
So, and the story was deep and it was political. So she was like, Miryam, why are you watching Ghurub Washruq? You don't even understand what's the story
what's going
about.
on.
Yes. And I was like, no, Mom, it's very simple. It's about a woman, Suad Hosni, Madiha. She played the role of Madiha, who's feeling lonely because her husband is always busy in work. But then when I grew up, and my mom, she invested more, honestly, in getting more. She used to get more tapes and record more movies and rent movies and it became like a daily thing that we have to watch a movie or 2 daily. Yeah. So she knew that I was. This is what I want to do. I want to be part of this. You know what I mean? So later, when we start coming. Visiting Egypt, she took me. She took me to premieres. I remember most of them, they were for Adil Imam movies, and when I grew up, I knew that Ghurub Washruq was not just about the lonely woman. Yeah, it was a lot more deeper than that. It was more deeper than that, and I knew that from that moment when I was young, I wanted to be a director, nothing else than a director. That is such a beautiful story. You know what I like about that story the most as well, because it becomes really clear that, you know, that was something that you kind of had a bond with your mum with about as well. You know, she would get the VHS, you'd sit down, it became a thing, and it's almost like she nurtured your imagination and she kind of veered you. She was there kind of like being your cheerleader, helping you kind of grow in your knowledge when it comes to film as well. So that's super cool. I didn't know that little story. No, actually she helped me a lot. She actually helped me to knock doors here in Egypt. She knew a couple of friends in the field, and she took me to more than one set to check how the location is, until I got the chance to serve as a trainee and then an assistant director, until the chance came to direct. See, I want to talk about that chapter in just 1 minute, but first we're going to head back to some more music. You got Liberty X up next with Just a Little.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
Pointer Sisters, I'm so excited right here on Egypt's #1 for hit music, Nile FM. Zeinab still here with you for some good vibes only. Not alone though. Still in the Nile FM studio with me, director Miryam Ahmadi. Hello to you. How you doing over there?
I'm great.
Are you enjoying the music?
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm enjoying being with you.
I'm enjoying being with you, and I love the story. You know, a little earlier on, I was talking to Miryam, and we were, I was asking her how it all started, the journey, and you were telling me a really wonderful story that I did not know before this about being really young and playing with the toys and creating almost like a play. That's what it sounded like. You created plays with the toys that you had, and you would sleep, and whatever dreams you had that continued that play, you would wake up in the morning and then you'd write it all down. And where we finished off was the part where, your mum would take you to premieres and record films for you, and that would be something that you did together. I think that was a nice little bonding thing that you both had together as well. Now we reached that point where mum takes you on premieres and takes you to movie sets and things like that, and then you really get into it and you work as a director's assistant for a couple of years. Now I want you to tell me how that experience was initially, and when did you know it was time to take the next step after that?
Okay, the right time comes when you want to frame what you have in mind.
Yeah.
There's always an image that you have in mind, but you're never going to be a director unless you put the camera on and you start recording and frame what you have in mind.
Yeah.
So here, when you know you're on the right track and it's about time to direct, working as an assistant director, it helped me a lot because it actually helped me with the technicalities, with knowing how to deal with people other than framing itself. I mean, It helps you more with dealing with a producer, how to deal with producers, how to deal with actors, how to direct actors, how to deal with the rest of the crew, and as well knowing different schools of directors, because when you work as an AD, you work with more than one director.
Yeah.
So you get to know more than one school of directing, and I think it helped me a lot. Yeah.
It helped you a lot.
Yeah.
And do you remember that moment when you were like, you know what, I know it's that time, it's that moment for me? Was it an instinct? Is it a gut feeling is the question that I'm asking, Is it something that comes out of instinct that you just know?
I'll tell you when do you feel it's the right time. It's when you kill the fear you have.
Yes.
And you start you do have your image, but it's still in your mind.
Yeah.
You need to get it out. To get it out, you need to either put it on paper or you feel the script.
Yeah.
There's like two ways to be a director. Either you write your own script or you get offered
a script that's inspiring to you, or you feel some way about.
Yes, exactly. So in my case, I was offered with Asheqt, the series that was an adaptation of Mohammed Mansi and Zil book, and I read the book and I loved it. I loved the fantasy part of it. That the girl was left. The girl was frozen on the train station after her lover left.
Yeah.
So I loved the idea of the book, and I felt the script.
It spoke to you.
It spoke to me. So yeah. So I felt it's about time to put all the things, all the vision I had in my mind in front of the camera and frame it and start directing.
How was that experience going into that very first project for you?
Okay, directing for the first time, it's I've done earlier. I've done before on Asheqt. I've done second unit directing.
Okay.
When you're directing as a second unit director, it's still responsible. You're still very responsible because you're doing someone else's vision. You're doing another director vision that you need to at least be as much close as the other director vision. But when you're directing for the first time, it's like I don't want to sound deep, but it's like driving.
Personal.
But no, it's like directing. Of course it's personal, but it's like directing. It's like driving for the first time your car. So when you drive your car, you have to be responsible for the people inside the car.
Yeah.
And you're responsible for the people outside the car as well, the people driving next to you.
Yeah.
And the car might be hit and you get off-road and you might drift.
Yeah.
and in general, it might be okay and it's fine. You need to remind yourself every time that it's fine. If you drift, it's fine. You need to get back
on the
behind
road,
the wheel drive and be in control and drive back again. But I remember Guy Ritchie. He's an English film maker.
Yeah.
He once said in an interview, which was very interesting, he said that there's two worlds. A world that, the outside world, this is how people want you to be, or how people see you. And it's the inside world, which is yours, how you see yourself and how you want people to see you. So when you're behind a wheel drive, driving your car, in your first experience, especially in my experience, I was very young, I was in my early 20s, it was not easy. The car drifted, and I had to be back on the wheel drive, driving to the highway, taking all the roads to the highway, because everyone is expecting me to be on the highway. But when you calm down after the first experience and you look back to what you've done, you're like, you know what, it's fine that you get hit by the car, and you take the off-road, and instead actually of just looking to the highway, you can be enjoying the ride itself.
Exactly.
So I think you take the full experience of everything when you're directing for the first time, and it's totally fine that either you it's good or bad. It's fine. And
you take
me,
it with all of it.
Good. For me, I do love an Asheqt. I love this.
I love it too. Can I just say, I love the fact that I managed to kind of walk in.
You were there.
I was there.
Yes, you were
I was there, and I remember it was a really exciting time for all of us as your friends as well, to kind of like see you behind the camera and do your thing. And yes, there were lots of ups and downs, but it was a very exciting time. I think, the story was a beautiful one as well, and seeing how you implemented things. I think with every experience, when you first do something by yourself for the first time, there's like trial and error, and there's trial and error, and then you get yourself back up. But overall, in the end, it ended up being a really beautiful project. Do you know what I mean?
I think it is. I love it, honestly. I love the experience of Asheqt.
I think there's always something for the first baby, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's and looking back to Asheqt now, I think it was different back then. It wasn't very common to direct a show like especially that it's an adaptation of a book. So no, I really like Asheqt, honestly.
I loved it. I loved it too. We're going to move on to another question that I've got for you. But first, we're going to head back to some more music. Justin Timberlake is up next with Selfish.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
The Sugar Babes and Hole in the Head right here on Egypt's number one for hit music, Nile FM. Is Zeinab here with you, and it's all about those good vibes only. Still here in the Nile FM studio with me, director Miryam Ahmadi. We are talking about her journey so far within the industry, and it's been a very interesting, even for someone who knows you, there's a lot of things that you said here that I didn't know, and I think that they add so much to who you are, and it makes sense how you are on the day-to-day basis, knowing that information as well. And we moved on to your first directorial experience as a director by yourself with Asheqt, and I want to ask you, what have been the setbacks in your journey in the industry so far? Has there been certain things that you kind of look at and you go, oh, I could have done that differently? Are there any of those moments? I'm giving you that look. You're just smiling at me like,
Because we all do. I had lots of setbacks, and actually I still do have. I still do. Some of them are personal. But let's maintain the good vibes of the show.
Okay.
and let's talk more about the ones in the industry. I think being a female director it's not easy in the MENA region.
Definitely.
Especially because the perception some people take of you being a female director, that you can direct so or so. Or the single that you can't do except a single genre. So
limited. They kind of they kind of limit you.
The female directors more, but I think right now after doing different genre, especially because I've done the mysterious one in 60 minutes, and now after the last round, Gawla Akhira, I've done more of a mix between action and drama. Yeah. So it's I think the perception of people is changing.
It's changing.
Yeah, it's changing.
Do you know what? Talking about 60 Minutes, I'm very thankful that you brought that up, because 60 Minutes, you know, that was a mini-series that you did in 2021. And what I really like about you, and not just because, you know, I know you, but honestly, what I really appreciate, you say, you know, you've done different genres. For me, what I like, there's always an important message, you know, within the stories that you choose to direct, and they always mean something. There's always a social message, and it's you know, and it says something, and it's something that opens up a discussion. You know, how important is it for you when you're choosing a project, the kind of message that you want to send? How does that factor in?
Okay, in both shows, either Lazem Aeesh or 60 Minutes, I was trying to address all the tools to mirror or to spot a certain topic to the society. And this what cinema is a very powerful tool, medium, and it's a very powerful tool that you can mirror and vision the social issues. In both shows, I was trying to address the tools to change the perception of some people towards either the disease or the psychological and complicated backgrounds. Yeah. But this doesn't mean that this is the way I choose the projects. But I mean, I don't believe in messages all of the time in shows. I believe more in feeling and engaging with the characters and the story. So when I read a certain script or an idea, and I get attracted to the characters and their backgrounds, and I start thinking and dreaming of them at night. And
with the notebook next to the bed.
Exactly. Exactly. This is what I do until now, by the way.
Oh, that's great.
So when I get engaged to the characters, and I think that I can add more to the characters and their backgrounds and the story, there when I know that I want to do this project. So it happened. I think it's not about the message, more of what I feel toward the story and the characters.
Talking about what you feel towards the story and the characters. I couldn't speak. How much of you know, goes into, how much of you goes into your work? It reflects it reflects on the story and what we see on screen, basically.
I think if it's not reflecting in a direct way, it's reflecting on the experiences I've been through. Yeah. The hopes, the traumas, the dreams I've been I've experienced, or I still need to experience. Yeah. So I think if it's I think a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of you goes into it. Yeah. What's your favorite part of the process?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Every part of the project, of the process, like let's start with getting the idea or agreeing on idea, or you just, when you read an idea, you're like, yes, this is what I want to do. You get attracted at the beginning to the idea, so it's very interesting. And then when, as I told you before, when you start adding to the characters, I love character-driven stories. So when I start adding to the character, it's very interesting and very exciting. Yeah. And then when you,
it's like putting in the ingredients.
Yes, exactly.
Creating that person.
You're creating a character with and then I like to add flesh and blood to the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, even
I
on
love the way you said that as well, flesh and blood.
Yes, exactly. So when you add this, and then that's a phase.
Yeah.
It's the pre phase, okay? And then you start working with the and then you check the whole storyline.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting as well. So
and you add in the layers.
The full, you add layers, and you see the full picture of the story after progressing and developing the characters. And then the second part, which is very interesting as well and exciting, is the part when you see the actors reading.
Yeah.
On a table reading on the characters that you have developed with the scriptwriter.
Yeah.
So you actually see, I was right. I was on the right track. No, let's add this. Let's remove this. So it's a very interesting process. And then comes the part where I call the playground.
Yeah.
Where you're filming. It's a playground. It must be fun. Yes,
yeah.
It's deep. Sometimes it's shit, but it's fun. It's a playground. So you do everything. You get punched. You fall. You drift. You whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's a playground. So it's a fun process. And the post part. Which is very complicated, but it's at the same time it's exciting because you do have a movie, you do have a film, you do have a show.
Yeah.
But in the edit room, in the post-production part, you can actually start re-editing the full scenes and do another movie, with another message or with another perspective. So it is very interesting, but for me it's a bit. I can't say it's the less. If you take this as an answer, because I'm a bit, I go into guilt trips usually when I'm in the edit room because
guilt trips. This is interesting.
I go into guilt trips because
you don't want to delete those particular scenes, or you don't want to get rid of that.
Okay, I'm gonna delete these scenes, but then what if
I need it.
Film this? This scene, am I gonna do it with a different point of view? And then I need to rest for like a couple of days. Take the episode with me back home.
Yeah.
And just do anything else for like 2 days and take
get
another
back
look.
To it.
Get back to it. I was like, okay, I'll delete this scene and this scene and this scene, and then I take another rest and go back to the same episode. And when the deleted scenes, I really don't remember them.
Yeah, then you know you made the right decision.
Exactly. So it's for me it's very interesting. But it's the less favorite.
Favorite part.
It's the less favorite if you take this as an answer because it's...
So I guess it would be like, your favorite part would be the development of the characters, and it coming to fruition. And then your least favorite part would be, having to take away from certain things that you kind of...
But it's the least favorite because, not because it's not interesting, but because
it's not relevant to what you want to portray in that moment.
No, actually, because it's how I go into guilt trips. It has nothing to do with any other director. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because once the show is out and it goes live and goes to people, I'm relaxed.
You're happy.
I'm happy about it. But yeah.
That's good to know. Right? Do you know what? I can't believe we're here already. We're gonna get back in the second hour. We're gonna be talking about your latest project that I'm really excited to talk about. But first, we're gonna head back to some more music. The Blessed Madonna are up next with Happier, Happier.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
Got to tell you a little something now. Are you ready to get close to the magic of Ed Sheeran? NileFM is giving you the opportunity to win a Loden guitar signed by the sensational Ed Sheeran himself. Imagine owning a piece of music history touched by the hands of the global superstar known for its hits like Shape of You, Thinking Out Loud, and Eyes Closed. Go to our NileFM Instagram at NileFM Online. Click on the link in the bio and stream Ed Sheeran's album as many times as you can to win. That's all. 104.2 Nile FM is the official Ed Sheeran sign guitar competition station here in Egypt. Part of the Warner Music Middle East competition. One winner is going to be picked from across all of Egypt, Morocco, KSA, and the UAE official stations. The competition ends on the 14th of March 2024, and it could be you. I know. Exciting things happening. Right now, though, I have an amazing guest, a very interesting guest here in the studio with me. Director Miryam Ahmadi is with me for some good vibes only. And we've been talking about her journey. Miryam, it's been a really interesting insight into your journey. A lot of the stuff that you said I didn't know at all, and I'm really engrossed, and it makes sense in the way you see things now. It makes me understand you more. And at this point, what I want to be asking you is, what would you want to do more of, and what kind of genres do you want to kind of like head towards?
I've done thriller.
Yeah,
and I love thriller and mysterious genre. I love actually crime comedy.
Crime comedy.
Yeah,
I did not see that coming.
Comedy. I love crime comedy a lot. I'm looking forward for a script for a crime comedy script that I can direct.
Yeah,
I like social drama, and I like sport genre as well.
Talking of sports genres, okay, this particular project that we're going to be talking about right now, which is called The Last Round, wrestling. How
it's MMA,
MMA. Sorry, let me get. Is it MMA or
it's martial mixer? It's MMA.
MMA, all right. Get with it, Zeinab. I know. I will learn all the tricks of the trades eventually. Be like, but how did that project happen? What was it about The Last Round that attracted you to that particular project?
Okay, The Last Round, it's about redemption and memories. It's about Yahya Shagia and his road to redemption. How he can get over his guilt feel toward Sanad that he
we don't want to give too many spoilers.
True.
But
it's about Yahya Shagi, who is trying to gain back the trust and
going through
belief,
guilt.
And as well the trust and belief of between him and his daughter.
Yeah.
And about Tambi, the trainer who's trying to get over the guilt trip since
and loss.
Yeah.
I think as well.
And I think it's more about as well the bunch of characters after the death of a person that related somehow to each one of them, and the relationship with their past, and their future.
Yeah,
because it's the memory and the memories is like very common between each character of them, between the dad, Dr. Nuruddin, who played the role Rojdi Shami, and the Sakka, who's losing his who got early dementia.
Yeah,
and as well Tambi, who's trying to get back his son, and his struggle with the guilt with the past, and Shabaka and his mom, that he cannot get over his past.
Yeah.
So it was. I think it was. About redemption and memories.
I've got to agree with that. I watched every single episode and I couldn't stop watching. And it was so weird because usually when you're watching a show, you're invested in one particular character or maybe two, okay? And then the rest, you're kind of like, you're not really focusing in on their little, storyline that's happening in the midst of it. With this particular series,
you were engaged with all of them.
Exactly. Yeah. You were engaged with every single character, and not just engaged lightly. No, you were really engaged with every single character because there were so many layers to each one, and each layer was interesting, and it had you wanting to kind of really understand. It gave you an idea of why they became the person that they are, that we're watching right now on that screen, and what their future is looking like in a way as well. We're going to talk about this project and how it came about in just a short while. But first, we're going to head back to some more music. I've got Chris Lawyer and is it Thomi? I'm not sure. Someone correct me if I've pronounced the name wrong, right? The song's called We're Gonna Feel It.
Hit music for Egypt. NileFM.
Director Miryam Ahmadi still in the NileFM studio here with me. We're having a really good time. The good vibes are definitely happening today. How you doing over there?
Great, good vibes.
Now, we were talking about the last round, okay? And I wanted you to tell us how that came about. I want to know, how did the project happen exactly?
Okay, this project actually was another project, was offered for me by the producer that I respect very much. I worked with him before in 60 Minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a sport genre. Ahmed El-Sakka was already on board. So I got so much excited because working with Ahmed El-Sakka gets back all the memories, honestly, gets the new Egyptian cinema.
Yeah.
Al Jazeera, Tito, Ibrahim Labyad. So I was very excited working with him.
Yeah.
We worked on the script for a while, and then for some reason the script we sat over the table, and we were not actually we did not want to do the script, the previous one.
Okay.
So we opened the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And more than one scriptwriter sent us sport genre. And we chose one. I chose one which was Ahmed Nada script, the last round that you already
that we've watched.
That you watched. And Ahmed Sakka was excited to it as well, the producer, and it all started from there.
Now, you said Ahmed Sakka was already on board with the project.
Yeah.
How was the rest of the casting process? How was that? Did you know who you wanted in from the get-go, or did you have an idea?
لا, I knew some I knew. Asma Abu Yazid, actually, she was already there from the first script.
Yeah.
And Ali Sobhi, I wanted him. I cast him. I wanted him from the
start.
From the start, but not in this role. It was the script
for
was
something
different.
else.
The script was different. And then Ashraf Abdelbaqi, because that was very interesting, because the Tembi was actually not written like this.
Wasn't?
Yeah. Tambi was more of a trainer.
Yeah.
And then after working on the script and developing the script with the scriptwriter, so I did not want him to be just a stereotype trainer, like the ones we've witnessed or we've seen before in other movies. I wanted him to be more like Kristen Bale in The Fighter.
Okay.
So he was out of the box. So
he was really out of box.
Yeah.
Like, he was definitely a character I really enjoyed watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you miss him. He has been for so long.
You miss him.
You miss him, and he has been like for the last. Actually, he worked with very good directors before, Ashraf Abdelbaqi. But I mean, recently he has been doing more comedy shows than
serious
drama
stuff.
Or serious stuff. And then I remember that I discussed it with the producer before going out, so that I want Ashraf Abdelbaqi. I was like, I think I want someone in particular in this role, Tambi, because after developing the script, we developed. He was just a trainer.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was just a stereotype trainer. And then talking more with Ahmed Nada, we developed him into a Christian trainer who lives in downtown Egypt, and he has an issue with his son that he can't. That he has been looking for, and after working in all the small details behind Tambi, I was pretty sure that Ashraf Abdelbaqi was the best option I had in mind.
Yeah.
So I discussed it with the producer, and then he was like, "Do you think he's gonna accept, because it's not a comedy role?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he will, because he did it before. I mean, he worked with very good directors before."
Yeah.
So Ashraf Abdelbaqi came that way. Rojdi Shemi is a joker, honestly. You can put him in any role. I mean, Rojdi Shemi, you can put him in any role, and he can nail it. Both of them honestly nailed it. So Rojdi Shemi, I wanted him from the very first beginning.
Yeah.
And even honestly, I have to credit this to him, that the role was actually Dr. Nuruddin.
Yeah.
The character that Rojdi Shemi played, his character, the father of Ahmed El-Sakka of Yahya. it was not written
As it was
at all. We worked with Dr. Salma Habib. She's a psychiatrist. We've done lots of research and we've read.
The reason that I want to interrupt you for a second. Then the reason I think this is happening is because his character in the series, he has dementia, and dementia is a big part of a big part of the series. Not the only part, but it is part of the storyline. So continue. You went and you actually, part of the process of being able to convey that, to make sure that it was accurate. You went to a psychiatrist. Yeah.
We worked with a psychiatrist, Dr. Salma Habib, and I remember, you know what, Zeinab, there's a very emotional moment when Dr. Salma and Rushdie Shami and the scriptwriter and we had a meeting discussing the character.
Yeah.
And after the discussion ended up, we knew that every one of us had a family member with Alzheimer or
dementia. Yeah.
So it's a disease that it's there.
Yeah,
you can find
and not a lot of people
families.
Understand it. That's the thing as well. People sometimes they're more kind of like Alzheimer's. Well, actually, that's part of what dementia is, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, we read a lot. I watched lots of documentaries.
Yeah,
I had a very close. I had someone very close to me with Alzheimer.
Yeah.
So I was. What I added on the script was the music part with Ahmed Nada, the scriptwriter, because when something very strange, that Alzheimer disease, for those with Alzheimer, when you put music in their ears, they get actually
memories.
They get memories and they cheer them up.
Yeah.
So we added this to the script, and I think it was a brilliant idea.
I thought it was beautiful.
And Rushdie Shami, honestly, as I told you before, he's a joker. I mean, when I swear, I remember there's a very
man of many trades.
Yeah, I work the assistant director who works with me. She's a girl.
Yeah,
and she did not meet Rushdie Shami before being on set.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first day he was shooting, she came to me and she was like, Miryam, there's something wrong with Rushdie Shami. I said, what's wrong with him? She said, he's very old, and he's coming with a stick,
with a walking stick.
With a walking stick, and I was like, Salma, what's wrong with you? He's
a bit of method acting,
and he's not actually young. He's not sorry, he's not old in real life. Yeah. He's very fresh and he's young and he wears shorts and colors. He's a very colorful person and he's a very positive person. So I was like, Salma, it's the role, ya habibti. And she was like, what? I said it's the role.
He's in character.
He's in character. We've been working on this since a month ago. And she was like, but he's brilliant. I said, yes, he's a very good actor. So Rushdie Shami, was very interesting working with him.
I want to get into that a little bit more, but first we're going to head back to some more music. You got Killers and Spirits coming up next.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
Delight and groove is in the heart right here on Egypt's #1 for hit music. Nile FM is Zeinab here with you. It's all about those good vibes only with me, director Miryam Ahmadi, and we are talking about the last round. Now, Miryam, this is the first series about the MMA. How did it feel going in? Did you feel like a particular kind of pressure?
Yeah, of course. Mixed martial arts has been it's booming in the Middle East since Dana White moved to open or stated the Fight Island and Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, and Saudi Arabia they were on their way as well.
Yeah.
So it was very stressful because you need to be up to scale to what the real game is and how people perceive the real games.
Yeah.
So it was very stressful. The production too was very stressful because it's a totally different process when you produce fights. In movies than in series. It's like a hell of money.
Talking about the process. Okay, I kind of think I already know the answer to this, but I just want you to tell everyone about it anyway. What was the most challenging thing that happened in the process? Now,
I don't know.
Miryam, care to share?
Care to share? Okay, but actually, all right. There was a funny challenge. But let's talk serious a little bit. Okay. The challenge, the most challenging thing is taking Ahmed El-Sakka as a mega star in totally a different
direction
than what he used to do, and especially as well. It's the first MMA show. And most of the sports genre abroad, even, they were more comedy, like Ted Lasso and other TV shows. But
this one was serious.
This one, it was serious, and it was like mixing the very tough game with tender characters and with Ahmed El-Sakka as a mega star on Amazon Prime for the first time, first Egyptian show on Amazon Prime. It's very challenging.
It's big. It's a big deal.
It was a big deal. But there is another challenge as well that was a bit funny, that I got punched in the face by Andrew Mackenzie, the stunt coordinator, by mistake.
How did this happen? Till this moment, I really don't understand how this happened.
Neither do I, honestly. I remember it looked for me, actually, it was like a Tarantino movie, you know, because that day,
bloody.
Khaled Kamar, it was very bloody. Khaled Kamar sent me the music of the show, and I was like the demos, and I was listening to them, and then I gave the headphones to the director producer, and I went to Andrew, wanted to ask him about something, and we had a discussion. And he did not know that I was standing just behind him while he's showing how a knockdown can be done. And I took the knockdown instead of the stunt. So yeah, my nose got broken. I stayed in bed for 2 days. But thank God I'm good.
You did good. You did good. You survived.
I survived.
Did you have any particular favorite scenes?
Yeah, I do. The scene between Yahya and Alia in the first episode, the first meeting between them, the scene of Yahya putting his face in the water.
I'm obsessed with that scene. You know, I'm obsessed with that scene.
And the scene between Alia and Yahya in episode 5, when he told her by mistake that he loves her, and all of the scenes and all of the relationship between Tambi and Shagia, and actually all the scenes of
the dialogue between them is beyond.
Was really good, and the emotions and the evolving of the emotions between Dr. Nuruddin and Yahya, his son, Ahmed El-Sakka, Roger Shami. It was very sensual and very emotional and deep, and I love as well Shabaka and his mom scenes. I love Shabaka and his mom scenes. So yeah. These are they were all favorites.
What would you say the dynamic was like working with the cast?
Oh. Okay.
Go on.
It was lots of testosterone. It was lots of imagine a female in a boys' club. It's exactly how. It's exactly it was because Alia, Asma Abu Yazid, she had very few scenes comparing to the rest of the show.
The characters,
the characters, they were all men. And most of them, they were either in training scenes or fighting scenes or so. But actually, they were very fun and positive, and it was a fun ride.
Were there any scenes that were deleted that you wish you could have kept in? Because earlier on, you were telling me when we were talking about the process in general, and you were saying, you know, you feel a bit of guilt when you're in that editing room as well. And you kind of question yourself, you know, a few times whether you should have kept or left it, and that kind of thing. Were there any scenes that you deleted in this that you wish you could have kept?
No, none.
None. You're happy with the way it was?
I'm happy with the way it was.
Is that a regular thing? Is that something you could say often with most of your work? Or is it this particular one you're like, I'm happy with it just as it is?
I'm this particular one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there anything at all that you would have done differently in it? But no.
No.
Not a single thing?
Not a single thing, no.
More questions coming up for you, Miryam, but this is really interesting, really insightful. We're going to head back to some more music. Purple Disco Machine up next, and Beat of Your Heart.
Hit music for Egypt. Nile FM.
Arden Jones and Parachute right here on Egypt's number one for hit music, Nile FM. Is Zeinab here with you, and it's all about those good vibes only. Miryam Ahmadi, amazing director, sitting right in front of me right now, and we're still talking about the last round. Now, I've got a question for you. What message did you want the audience to receive by the time that they finished this series? Because, you know, I had a few different things on my mind by the time it was done.
There is no message.
There is no message.
No, there is no
message.
I just wanted them to feel, to get emotional and get engaged with the characters, feel the characters, each one of them. I just wanted the audience to have some empathy without to the characters, without any moral judgments.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to be as much as I can confident without beating the audience, but on their head. So I was trying just to break their hearts.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I'm not going to lie. That was more than a little bit, man. But it was very beautifully done. It was beautifully done. For me, you know, there were so many scenes that I could, you know, I tried to think of my favorite scenes. I have my favorite shots, like the one that I'm obsessed with. And you were with me when I watched that one. And I was just like, that moment, that shot that, you know, 1 minute, head in the water. And then I thought that was going to be it. But there were so many shots, beauty shots. For me, I thought they were just, I call them beauty shots because I thought they were so beautiful. Do you know what I mean? But there were so many moments where it was difficult, and there were tears, and there was a deep sadness and a deep empathy, and there were moments when you suddenly, things start making sense of certain relationships and why those people are entwined in each other's lives, because for a bit you're not really sure, and then you're like, that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? What can we expect from you next?
I'm relaxing. I'm just enjoying the feedback. I'm still searching. I'm reading.
Yeah.
And if there's a character or a script that touched me, I'll definitely be running after it.
Now, you know, and I told you this a little earlier on, you know, there's always someone who's listening, you know, who's young, who's aspiring to be a director, an actor, or just wants to go into the field. If you could give them, you know, an advice on any kind of advice, if they wanted to be a director, what kind of advice would you give?
Believe in yourself and get what you have in mind out. Share it with someone and then put a camera on and just roll the camera and frame what you have in mind. You're going to be a director. Experiment. Yeah.
That's some great advice right there. Miryam, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. I can't believe we did this. No, it's been so much fun. It's been so interesting, you know, even the way that you kind of like, you know, tell your story about your journey and just everything that was going on behind the scenes and everything like that. You have me engrossed. You have this knack for storytelling that isn't just on screen, but in the way that you tell things how they went. Do you know what I mean? So I really appreciate you for coming on. Hope this isn't the last time. Hopefully you're going to come back again the next time you've got something, and we'll sit down and talk.
I would love to. Thank you, Z.
Thank you. We've got more music on the way for you now. Miryam, you chose this song that's coming up next. Why did you choose it?
I love it.
You love it.
I love it. I love it. There's a story. There's a story behind the song and the video. I remember the video. It was intense, but it was nice.
Do you want to tell everyone what song this is?
Okay, Family Portrait for Pink by Pink. Thank you. Good vibes with Zeinab on NileFM.
Here it is for you.